The stars looked different that night. Dr. Rachel Green noticed it first as she sat in her small office at the Deep Space Monitoring Station in Colorado. She had been watching the sky for 15 years, and something was wrong. The computer screens showed numbers that made no sense. "Alex, come look at this," she called to her partner. Dr. Alex Murphy walked over with a cup of coffee in his hands. He was tired after working for 12 straight hours. "What is it now, Rachel? Another computer problem?" Alex asked. He had seen many false alarms before. Rachel pointed at the screen. "Look at these gravity readings. Something big is out there. Really big." Alex looked at the numbers and shook his head. "The machine is broken again. Nothing that large could be in space near Earth without us knowing about it." But Rachel felt something cold in her stomach. She had learned to trust her feelings about space. She called the main office in Washington. The person who answered the phone did not believe her either. 3,000 light-years away, Commander Vextalar stood on the bridge of his massive warship. He was tall and thin, with gray skin and 4 arms. His race, the Zephyrians, had been conquering worlds for 3,000 years. They were very good at it. "Report on the target planet," Vextalar said to his officer. "The humans are very primitive, Commander. They still use chemical rockets and simple nuclear weapons. Their technology is hundreds of years behind ours. This will be easy." Vextalar smiled, showing sharp teeth. "How many worlds have we taken now?" 207, Commander. All of them surrendered within 3 days. The commander looked at the blue planet on his screen. Earth looked small and helpless. "Prepare the fleet for attack position. We will give them the usual warning. 72 hours to surrender or die." On Earth, President Helen Carter was having breakfast with her family when the phone rang. It was 3 in the morning, but the voice on the other end was wide awake and scared. "Madam President, you need to come to the White House right now. We have a situation." 20 minutes later, Helen Carter sat in the Situation Room with her top military leaders. General Jack Stone and Admiral Lisa Hayes looked as confused as she felt. "Show me what we know," the president said. The big screen lit up with images from space. Huge ships, bigger than cities, hung in the darkness above Earth. They had appeared from nowhere, like magic. "How many ships?" Helen asked. "We count 50 large vessels and maybe 300 smaller ones. Each big ship could destroy a city," General Stone said. Admiral Hayes added, "Our satellites show these ships have weapons we do not understand. They also have shields that block our scans." Then the message came. A voice spoke in perfect English from the alien ships. It was cold and without feeling. "People of Earth, we are the Zephyrian Empire. We have conquered 200 worlds before yours. You have 72 hours to surrender completely. If you refuse, we will destroy your planet. This is your only warning." The room was quiet for a long time. Finally, President Carter spoke. "What are our options?" General Stone looked grim honestly. "We could try to fight, but our weapons are like throwing rocks at tanks. These aliens are far ahead of us in technology, so we just give up," the president asked. "Maybe we can negotiate," Admiral Hayes suggested. But in a small town in Montana, a different conversation was happening. Sam Collins was a retired Marine who had fought in 3 wars. He sat in a local diner with 10 of his neighbors, drinking coffee and watching the news on television. "So these space aliens want us to surrender," said Bob, the local mechanic. "That's what they said," replied Mary, who ran the general store. Sam Collins was quiet for a moment, then he spoke in a calm voice. "I didn't fight in Iraq and Afghanistan to come home and bow down to some space bullies. But Sam, look at those ships. They're huge," Bob said. "Big ships need big targets," Sam replied. "I know these mountains better than any alien. We could make things difficult for them." In New York City, engineer Kate Williams was doing something the aliens had not expected. Instead of panicking, she was taking notes. She recorded every second of the alien broadcast. Studying their ships through her telescope, Kate had always been good at solving problems. She looked at the alien ships like puzzles to be solved. Every machine had weak points. Every technology had limits. She just had to find them. Her phone rang. It was her friend Jenny, a computer programmer. "Kate, are you seeing this on TV?" "What do? We learn," Kate said simply. "These aliens made a mistake. They told us exactly what they were going to do. They gave us 72 hours. That's enough time to start figuring things out." The 72 hours passed slowly. Around the world, people reacted in different ways. Some panicked, some prayed, some hid. But others, like Sam Collins and Kate Williams, started preparing for war. The aliens had studied human history. They knew about human wars and weapons. But they had missed something important about humans. They did not understand that humans had never fought a war they thought was truly hopeless, and still fought anyway. When President Carter gave her final answer to the aliens, her words were simple and clear. "The United States of America, speaking for all free people of Earth, rejects your demand for surrender. We choose to remain free." Similar messages came from every major country on Earth. The aliens were surprised. In 3,000 years of conquest, no planet had ever refused to surrender after seeing their fleet. Commander Vextalar received the human response with confusion. "They saw our demonstration of power. They know we can destroy them. Why do they refuse?" His science officer, Dr. Zilkith, had been studying human communications. "Commander, I think we may have misunderstood these humans. Their response patterns are unlike any species we have encountered." "Explain." "Most species show fear when faced with superior force. Humans seem to show ... anger." The commander dismissed this concern. "Anger will not stop our weapons. Begin the attack. Target their military centers first. They will surrender when they see their defenses fall." But as the first Safarian ships moved toward Earth, they had no idea what they were about to face. Humans, they would soon learn, did not fight wars the way other species did. Humans did not know when to quit. In bunkers and basements around the world, people like Sam Collins cleaned their weapons and checked their supplies. Engineers like Kate Williams studied every piece of alien technology they could see. Leaders like President Carter prepared their people for the fight of their lives. The Zephyrians had made their first mistake. They had given humans time to think. Their second mistake was even bigger. They thought humans would fight like every other species they had conquered. They were wrong. The first alien attack came at dawn. Bright beams of light shot down from the sky, turning military bases into smoking holes in the ground. The Pentagon, NORAD, and major Air Force bases around the world disappeared in seconds. Commander Vex watched from his ship with satisfaction. "Excellent. Their command centers are destroyed. They should surrender within hours." But something strange happened. Instead of surrender messages, the aliens received silence. Then, slowly, human forces began to respond in ways that made no sense. Lieutenant Colonel Mike Bradley was in the Rocky Mountains when the attacks began. He had been camping with his Special Forces unit during a training exercise. When the radios went dead and they saw the explosions in the distance, Mike knew what had happened. "Gather around," he told his men. "Looks like we're at war with aliens now." Sergeant Pete Davis, a demolitions expert from Texas, laughed grimly. "Well, that's a new one. What's the plan, Colonel?" Mike looked at the mountains around them. He had trained in these hills for 20 years. Every cave, every trail, every hiding spot was burned into his memory. "Same plan as always, Pete. We make the enemy wish they had stayed home." The aliens expected human resistance to collapse without central command. Every other species they had conquered fought in organized armies with clear chains of command. Cut off the head, and the body died. But humans were different. When the main bases were destroyed, smaller units kept fighting. When the smaller units were scattered, individual soldiers kept fighting. When the soldiers ran out of ammunition, civilians picked up weapons and kept fighting. Dr. Emma Foster was in her laboratory at MIT when the attacks started. She was a quantum physicist who studied very small particles, but now she had bigger problems to solve. Her colleague, software engineer Danny Park, burst into her lab. "Emma, did you see the news? They destroyed Washington." Emma was already working at her computer. "I saw it. Help me analyze this footage of their ships." "What are you looking for?" "Everything." Emma's fingers flew across the keyboard. "These aliens have advanced technology, but all technology has rules. Physics doesn't change just because you're from another planet." Danny pulled up video of the alien attacks on his laptop. "Look at this. Their energy weapons seem to charge up before firing. There's a blue glow that lasts about 3 seconds. Emma studied the footage carefully. 3 seconds. That's enough. Warning time, if you know what to look for. "What else do you see? Their shields seem to work against energy weapons and missiles. But look at this." Danny pointed to footage of debris falling near an alien ship. Small pieces of metal from destroyed buildings are getting through their shields. Emma smiled for the first time since the attack began. They calibrated their shields for military weapons, not random debris. Interesting. In Los Angeles, the aliens had landed troops to secure the city. They expected the humans to hide or run away. Instead, they found something they had never encountered before. Maria Gonzalez worked at a fast food restaurant. She was 23 years old and had never been in the military. But when alien soldiers started patrolling her neighborhood, Maria got angry. She gathered her coworkers and neighbors in the restaurant's basement. "These aliens think they can just walk into our home and take over. Are we going to let them?" "What can we do?" asked Carlos, a delivery driver. "They have ray guns and armor." Maria opened a box of kitchen supplies. "They have fancy weapons, but we have something they don't understand. We know this city. Every street, every building, every sewer tunnel." She picked up a bottle of cooking oil. "My grandmother fought in the resistance during World War II. She taught me that every household item can be a weapon if you're creative enough." Within days, Maria's group had turned downtown LA into a nightmare for the alien patrol units. Cooking oil made streets slippery. Homemade smoke bombs blocked their vision. Simple tripwires caused heavily armored aliens to fall into carefully placed holes. The aliens reported these incidents as minor technical difficulties. They did not understand that Maria's tactics were spreading across the city. Through text messages and social media. Commander Vextalar studied the reports from Earth with growing confusion. "Why are our casualty reports increasing? We destroyed their main military forces." Dr. Zilkith, his science officer, had been analyzing human behavior patterns. "Commander, I believe we have seriously misunderstood this species. They do not fight according to standard patterns." "Explain." "Most species have a clear military hierarchy. Destroy the leaders, and the followers surrender. Humans seem to have no real hierarchy. When we eliminate their leaders, new leaders appear. Immediately." The commander's 4 eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" "Watch this footage from the Los Angeles occupation." Dr. Zilkith showed video of human civilians attacking alien patrols with improvised weapons. "These are not soldiers. They are food service workers, students, shop owners. They have no military training, yet they continue to resist. Impossible. Untrained civilians cannot threaten our forces. Tell that to squad leader Vex: Unit was eliminated yesterday by humans using kitchen supplies and construction equipment." Meanwhile, in a hidden laboratory in the Australian outback, Dr. Nathan Bell was having the best day of his scientific career. He had always dreamed of studying alien technology. Now, he had a crashed alien scout ship to examine. Nathan and his team of engineers worked around the clock. The alien ship was damaged but mostly intact. They could see how the shields worked, how the weapons functioned, and how the engines operated. "Look at this," said Jenny Chen, a materials scientist. "Their hull is incredibly strong, but it's brittle. Hit it with enough force in the right spot, and it shatters like glass." Dr. Bell studied the alien control systems. Their computers are fast, but they're not creative. Everything is programmed for specific responses. They can handle expected threats very well, but they seem confused by unexpected ones. "What do you mean?" asked Tom Wright, an electrical engineer. "Watch." Dr. Bell connected a simple human radio to the alien communication system. Immediately, alarms started blaring in the alien ship. Their systems can't process random human radio signals. It's like feeding static to a computer that only knows how to read specific data. Back in the Rocky Mountains, Mike Bradley's unit had been busy. They had discovered that human explosives could damage alien vehicles if placed correctly. More importantly, they had learned that aliens were not good at mountain warfare. "They're used to fighting on flat ground with clear sightlines," Mike explained to his men. "But these mountains have 1,000 places to hide and 1,000,000 ways to attack." Sergeant Davis had rigged an entire valley with explosives and tripwires. "When they come through that pass tomorrow, they're going to get a warm welcome." The aliens came at sunrise, just as predicted. Their hover tanks moved in perfect formation through the mountain pass. They had shields and sensors and all the advantages of advanced technology. They did not have local knowledge. The first explosion brought down half a mountainside, blocking their retreat. The second explosion collapsed the bridge they needed to advance. The third explosion was just for fun. When the dust settled, the alien formation was scattered and confused. That's when Mike's soldiers opened fire from hidden positions throughout the mountains. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it was over, the humans had destroyed an entire alien armored unit, using weapons the aliens considered primitive. More importantly, they had captured alien equipment and prisoners. For the first time in 3,000 years of conquest, Zephyrian soldiers were prisoners of war. Commander Vextalar received the report in stunned silence. An entire armored division destroyed by humans using explosives and rifles. It was impossible, yet it had happened. "Send reinforcements to the mountain sector," he ordered. "Sir, perhaps we should reconsider our strategy," Dr. Zilkith suggested. "These humans are not responding according to any known pattern. They are primitives with crude weapons." The commander shouted, "We have conquered 200 worlds. We will not be stopped by one backward planet." But as reports continued to arrive from around Earth, a disturbing picture emerged. Human resistance was not weakening. It was growing stronger. Every day, the aliens faced new tactics, new weapons, and new problems they had never encountered before. The Zephyrians had expected to fight an army. Instead, they found themselves fighting an entire planet of people who refused to give up. And for the first time in their long history of conquest, they began to wonder if they had made a mistake. 3 months had passed since the invasion began. Commander Vextalar stood in his command room, staring at reports that made no sense. His conquest fleet, which had never failed before, was stuck fighting a war they should have won in days. "Status report," he demanded. His tactical officer, Sub-Commander Kethfer, looked nervous. "Sir, we control the major cities, but human resistance continues to grow. Our casualty rate has increased by 40% this month. How is that possible? We have superior technology and firepower. The humans adapt very quickly, sir. Every tactic we use, they find a counter-tactic within days. They also use methods that our combat manuals do not cover." Dr. Zilkith entered the command room, carrying a thick data pad. "Commander, I have completed my analysis of human behavior patterns. I believe we have made a critical error." "What error?" Vextalar's voice was sharp with frustration. We assumed humans would behave like every other species we have conquered, but humans are fundamentally different. They have psychological traits that make them extremely difficult to defeat. The commander sat down heavily, explained Dr. Zilkith, activated a holographic display showing human combat footage. Most species fight until they suffer significant losses, then surrender to preserve their lives. Humans seem to fight harder when they suffer losses. Death makes them more determined, not less. That makes no logical sense. Logic has nothing to do with it, sir. It appears to be an emotional response. They call it revenge, or honor. The more we hurt them, the more motivated they become. Meanwhile, on Earth, Captain Troy Bennett was proving exactly how dangerous motivated humans could be. He was a Navy SEAL who had been swimming underwater when the invasion started. Now he was swimming toward an alien command ship that had landed in San Francisco Bay. Troy had spent 2 months planning this mission. He had studied alien patrol patterns, learned their weaknesses, and gathered a team of the best underwater specialists he could find. Remember, he whispered to his team through their underwater radios, "We're not trying to destroy the ship. We just need to get inside and steal their computers." The alien ship floated on the water like a metal island. Its shields protected it from missiles and energy weapons, but the aliens had not expected humans to attack from below. Troy and his team used small explosive charges to create a hole in the ship's bottom hull. The explosion was tiny, but it was enough. Water began flooding into the alien vessel as alien crews rushed to fix the leak. Troy's team slipped inside through maintenance tunnels. They had studied the ship's design from captured footage and knew exactly where to go. 20 minutes later, they emerged from the bay, carrying alien computers, communication devices, and weapons. The most valuable prize was a complete database of alien military plans and technology. The information was rushed to Dr. Emma Foster and Danny Park, who had set up a secret research facility in an abandoned subway tunnel under New York City. "This is incredible," Emma said, scrolling through alien technical data. "Look at their shield frequency patterns. I can build a device to disrupt them." Danny was examining alien communication protocols. "Even better, I can hack into their network. Their computer security is designed to stop alien threats, not human creativity." "What do you mean?" "They use very logical, predictable security systems. But human hackers don't think logically. We think creatively. Watch this." Danny connected his laptop to an alien communication device and began typing code. Within minutes, he had access to alien ship communications across the entire fleet. "Emma, I can hear everything they're saying to each other. They're confused and scared. They've never faced anything like human resistance before." Emma smiled. "Then let's give them something new to worry about." In the Midwest, high school chemistry teacher Linda Adams was running the most dangerous classroom in history. Her students were resistance fighters from 3 states, and her lesson plan was how to make explosives from household chemicals. "The key is understanding chemical reactions," Linda explained to her class of farmers, mechanics, and shopkeepers. "Aliens have advanced technology, but chemistry is chemistry. If you know how to mix the right ingredients, you can make things go boom." Her student, Rick Cooper, a former NASA engineer, raised his hand. "What about their body armor?" "Good question. Alien armor is designed to stop energy weapons and metal projectiles, but it's not designed for chemical attacks. A simple acid mixture can eat through their armor in seconds." Linda's cookbook of improvised weapons was spreading across the resistance network faster than the aliens could track it. Every hardware store and pharmacy became a potential weapons factory. The aliens tried to control the supply of chemicals, but humans found alternatives. When they banned fertilizer, humans used other nitrogen sources. When they banned cleaning supplies, humans made acid from car batteries. For every chemical you ban, Linda told her online students, there are 10 other ways to make the same reaction happen. That's the beauty of chemistry. In occupied Seattle, The aliens were learning this lesson the hard way. Dr. Marcus Webb, a retired Army medic, had turned his veterinary clinic into a fortress. He and 12 other civilians held off alien attacks for 6 weeks, using nothing but medical supplies and animal medications. Veterinary tranquilizers work very well on aliens, Dr. Webb explained to other resistance cells over a hidden radio network. Apparently, their nervous systems are similar to Earth mammals. A dart gun loaded with horse tranquilizer can drop a fully armored alien soldier in 30 seconds. The aliens had never encountered biological warfare before. Their medical technology could heal energy weapon wounds and fix broken bones, but they had no defense against Earth diseases and drugs. Commander Vextalar read the latest reports with growing alarm. Human resistance was not just continuing, it was evolving. Every week, the humans developed new tactics that the Zephyrian military had never seen before. "Sir," Dr. Zilkith reported, "I have disturbing news. The humans are sharing information faster than we can counter it. When one group discovers a weakness in our armor, every human group knows about it within hours." How? They use something called the Internet. It's a planetary communication network that we cannot fully control or shut down. Even when we destroy their main servers, they create new ones. Sub-Commander Kethfer added his own bad news. "Sir, our supply ships are reporting attacks in deep space. Human vessels are somehow reaching our supply lines. Impossible. Humans do not have faster than light travel." Apparently they do now. "Sir, intelligence reports that humans have reverse-engineered our technology and built their own starships. The truth was even worse than the aliens knew." Captain Julie Stevens, a former Air Force pilot, was leading the first human space fleet using captured alien technology. Her ships were crude compared to Zephyrian vessels, but they had advantages the aliens did not expect. Remember, Julie told her pilots, their ships are faster and stronger than ours. But their pilots think like computers. They follow patterns and procedures. We think like humans. We improvise. Julie's fleet of 12 modified Earth spacecraft attacked a Zephyrian supply convoy near Jupiter. The alien escort ships immediately moved into defensive formation, just as their training dictated. That's when Julie's ships did something no alien pilot would ever do. They split up and attacked from 6 different directions at once, using completely random flight patterns. The alien pilots, trained to fight organized formations, couldn't adapt to the chaos. By the time they realized what was happening, half their convoy was destroyed, and the humans had captured enough supplies to build more ships. Back on Earth, the war was entering a new phase. The aliens still controlled the major cities, but the countryside belonged to the humans. Supply convoys were attacked daily. Communication towers were sabotaged nightly. Alien soldiers were afraid to patrol alone. Dr. Zilkith presented her final report to Commander Vextalar. "Sir, I recommend immediate withdrawal from this planet. Withdrawal. We have never retreated from any world. This is not like any world we have conquered before. These humans display psychological characteristics that make them nearly impossible to defeat. They do not surrender when faced with superior force. They adapt to our technology faster than we can deploy it. Most importantly, they seem to become more dangerous the longer we fight them." Commander Vextalar was quiet for a long moment. Finally, he asked, "What are you saying?" "I am saying, sir, that we may have made a terrible mistake. We thought we were conquering a primitive planet. Instead, we have awakened something that could threaten the entire empire." As if to prove her point, alarms began blaring throughout the ship. Human hackers had infiltrated their communication system and were broadcasting a message on all frequencies. The voice was calm and confident. It belonged to President Helen Carter, speaking from a hidden bunker somewhere on Earth. "People of the Zephyrian Empire, this is the President of the United States of America. Your leaders told you that humans would surrender in 3 days. It has been 3 months, and we are still fighting. Your leaders told you that we are primitive and weak, but we have captured your ships, copied your technology, and taken the fight to your supply lines. Your leaders have made a mistake. They have given us time to learn, and humans are very good at learning. We do not want to destroy your empire, but we will defend our freedom. The choice is yours. The message repeated in 17 alien languages that humans had decoded from captured communications. Commander Vextalar realized that Dr. Zilkith was right. They had not conquered Earth. Earth was conquering them. The Zephyrian Empire's second conquest fleet arrived at Earth after receiving Commander Vextalar's desperate request for reinforcements. Supreme Admiral Tethkalos looked at the blue planet with disgust. One small world had humiliated the Empire's finest fleet. This ends now, the Admiral declared. We will triple our forces and crush these humans completely. The second fleet brought 300 more warships and 50,000 additional troops. The Empire's leaders could not understand how primitive humans continued to resist their superior technology. But the humans had not been idle during the months of fighting. They had learned, adapted, and grown stronger. Captain Julie Stevens now commanded a fleet of 40 human ships built from captured alien technology. Her vessels were still smaller and weaker than Zephyrian warships, but they had one crucial advantage: unpredictability. New alien ships incoming, reported her communications officer, Lieutenant Ben Adams. Looks like they brought friends this time. Julie studied the tactical display. The new alien fleet was massive, but they were flying in perfect formation, like a parade. They still don't understand how we fight. All ships, prepare for Operation Chaos. Operation Chaos was Julie's masterpiece of unconventional warfare. Instead of meeting the aliens in organized battle, her ships scattered in all directions, attacking random targets with no apparent pattern. Human ship Defiance, commanded by former truck driver Tim Miller, attacked an alien supply depot near Mars, while the aliens sent ships to defend it. Human ship Freedom, led by ex-teacher Sarah Blake, hit their communications array on the other side of the solar system. The aliens tried to predict where humans would attack next, but there was no pattern to predict. Human commanders made decisions based on opportunity, instinct, and sometimes just because they felt like it. Admiral Tithkalos watched his carefully planned formations break apart as they chased human ships across the solar system. How do we fight an enemy that has no strategy? He asked his staff. Perhaps that is their strategy, Admiral, suggested his tactical officer. Meanwhile, on Earth's surface, the war had evolved into something the aliens had never encountered. They controlled the cities during the day, but at night, the planet belonged to the humans. In Detroit, mechanic Jim Parker had made a discovery that changed everything. While repairing a captured alien computer, he accidentally created a virus that spread through their network. I was just trying to fix the cooling system, Jim explained to Dr. Emma Foster over their secure radio link. But somehow my repair code got into their main network. Now their computers keep crashing. Emma was excited. Jim, do you understand what you've done? You've created the first computer virus that affects alien technology. Is that good? It's better than good. It's revolutionary. Can you make more? Jim scratched his head. Well, I was working on their navigation system yesterday. I could probably mess that up too. Within weeks, Jim's computer viruses were spreading through alien systems across Earth. Navigation computers gave wrong directions. Weapon systems fired at random targets. Communication arrays broadcast human music instead of military orders. The aliens had advanced antivirus protection, but it was designed to stop alien hackers, not human creativity. Jim Parker, a high school dropout who fixed cars for a living, had done something that the Empire's best computer experts said was impossible. Dr. Susan Blake, a psychologist from Chicago, was fighting a different kind of war. She had been studying alien communications and discovered that the Zephyrians had cultural weaknesses that could be exploited. They're a very hierarchical society. Susan explained to other resistance leaders during a secret meeting in an abandoned shopping mall. They follow orders without question and never improvise. We can use this against them. Susan's psychological warfare campaign began with simple pranks. Human hackers would take over alien communication systems and play confusing messages. Orders would be changed slightly, causing alien units to march in circles or attack empty buildings. But Susan's greatest weapon was humor. She discovered that aliens had no concept of jokes or sarcasm. When humans broadcast comedy shows on alien frequencies, it caused genuine confusion and fear among alien troops. They think our comedians are some kind of psychological weapon, Susan reported with amusement. Yesterday, I played a recording of a stand-up comedian making jokes about alien fashion, and 3 alien squads abandoned their positions. The aliens tried to understand human humor, but failed completely. Their analysts wrote serious reports about the strategic implications of human comedy broadcasts and the military applications of organized laughter. In the Rocky Mountains, Lieutenant Colonel Mike Bradley had turned his guerrilla unit into a training school for resistance fighters. Volunteers came from across the country to learn mountain warfare from the man who had never lost a battle against the aliens. The key is knowing the land better than your enemy, Mike taught his students. These aliens are used to fighting in space or on flat ground. Mountains confuse them. His latest student was Betty Cooper, a 67-year-old grandmother from Kansas. She had volunteered after aliens destroyed her farm. "Colonel, I may be old, but I know how to shoot," Betty said. "My late husband taught me to hunt deer. How different can aliens be?" "They're bigger targets," Mike replied with a grin. Betty Cooper became one of the most effective snipers in the resistance. Her patience and experience hunting animals translated perfectly to hunting aliens. She could wait motionless for hours before taking the perfect shot. The aliens never expected attacks from elderly humans. Their intelligence reports focused on military-age males, not grandmothers with hunting rifles. As the war continued, the most dangerous development for the aliens was happening in laboratories around the world. Human scientists were not just copying alien technology, they were improving it. Dr. Nathan Bell had successfully reverse-engineered alien shield technology, but his version was better than the original. "Alien shields are designed to stop specific types of weapons," he explained to his team. "Our shields adapt automatically to any threat." Engineer Carol Davis had solved the alien faster-than-light travel system. "Their engines are efficient, but they're complicated. I've simplified the design and made it 50% faster." Most importantly, Dr. Emma Foster had cracked the secret of alien artificial intelligence. Their AI is very advanced, but it's also very rigid. It can only solve problems it was programmed to solve. Our AI will be able to think creatively. The combination of human creativity and alien technology was producing results that neither species could achieve alone. Human ships were becoming faster and more maneuverable. Human weapons were becoming more accurate and powerful. Human defenses were becoming stronger and more adaptable. Commander Vextalar received reports of these developments with growing despair. "How can primitives improve our technology?" he asked Dr. Zilkith. "They approach problems differently than we do," she replied. "We perfect existing solutions. They create new solutions. Our technology is more advanced, but their methods are more innovative." "What are you saying?" "I am saying that humans may be more dangerous than we thought, not because of their technology, but because of how they think." The situation became critical when human ships began appearing in other star systems. Captain Amy Roberts, leading a fleet of human-designed vessels, attacked a Zephyrian mining colony in the Alpha Centauri system. Her message to the alien colonists was simple: "You have 48 hours to evacuate. We are liberating this system." The 3 aliens evacuated. For the first time in their history, they retreated, without a fight, from a human demand. Admiral Tithkalos received the news in his command ship orbiting Earth. How many human ships were involved in this attack? Intelligence reports 6 vessels. Admiral, 6 ships, forced the evacuation of an entire colony. Yes, sir. The colonists were afraid. Afraid of 6 primitive ships. No, sir. They were afraid of humans. The Admiral realized that the war had reached a turning point. The Zephyrian Empire, which had conquered 200 worlds through superior firepower, was losing to a species that fought with superior determination. But the humans were not finished. In hidden bases around Earth, they were preparing for their greatest offensive yet. The time for defense was over. Now, it was time to take the fight to the heart of the Zephyrian Empire. President Helen Carter, speaking from her secure bunker, addressed the human resistance. We have shown that we cannot be conquered. Now we will show that we cannot be stopped. The liberation of Earth is just the beginning. We will carry freedom to every world that wants it. The aliens had come to Earth expecting an easy conquest. Instead, they had awakened something that would change the galaxy forever. Humanity was no longer fighting just for survival. They were fighting for the freedom of every oppressed species in the Empire. And the Empire was beginning to understand that they had made the biggest mistake in their 3,000-year history. The Supreme Council of the Zephyrian Empire met, in emergency session, on their homeworld of Zephyr Prime, for 3,000 years. They had ruled over 200 conquered worlds without question. Now, one small planet called Earth threatened everything they had built. Supreme Councilor Vex, read the latest reports with growing alarm. Human ships have been detected in 12 star systems. They are not just defending their homeworld anymore. They are spreading. How is this possible? Demanded Councilor Ethmer. 6 months ago, these humans could barely reach their own moon. They learn very quickly, replied Intelligence Director Kolveth. Our analysts estimate that human technology is advancing 50 times faster than normal species development, and they are teaching other species their methods, added Military Coordinator Tithvel. Slave worlds that have been quiet for centuries are beginning to rebel. They use human tactics and human weapons. The truth was worse than the Council knew. Captain Amy Roberts now commanded a fleet of 60 human ships that traveled between star systems, bringing supplies and training to rebel groups throughout the Empire. On the mining world of Kepler-4 for 2b, Amy met with Grixtel, a leader of the local Varaxian resistance. The Varaxians had been enslaved by the Empire for 200 years. Your people inspire us, Grixtel said in broken English. We thought the Empire could never be defeated. Then we heard about Earth. Amy smiled. We're not special. We just refused to give up. You can do the same thing. But we have tried to rebel before. The Empire always crushes us. That's because you fought like they expected you to fight, Amy explained. You organized armies and attacked their strong points. That's what every species does. Humans fight differently. Amy's technical advisor, engineer Tony Miller, opened a case full of human-designed weapons and tools. These are simple devices that any species can build. They're not as advanced as Empire technology, but they don't need to be. Tony showed the aliens how to make improvised explosives from mining chemicals, how to jam Imperial communications with simple radio transmitters, and how to turn everyday tools into weapons. The key is creativity, Tony explained. Don't try to match their technology. Use their technology against them. Within weeks, the Varaxian rebellion was causing massive problems for the Empire. Mining equipment was sabotaged daily. Communication towers were destroyed nightly. Imperial troops were afraid to patrol alone. Most importantly, the Varaxians were sharing human tactics with other enslaved species throughout the galaxy. Back on Earth, the war was reaching its final phase. The aliens still held some major cities, but their control was slipping daily. Human forces had grown from scattered resistance groups into a coordinated planetary army. Dr. Carl Brown, now director of the Human Xenological Institute, was studying captured alien prisoners. What he learned changed everything. "They're not evil," Carl reported to President Carter. "They're just used to everyone surrendering immediately. They've never had to fight a real war before." "What do you mean?" "For 3,000 years, their conquest method was simple. Arrive with overwhelming force, demonstrate their power, wait for surrender. It worked on every species they encountered. They never learned how to fight a determined enemy. So they're not actually good at war. They're excellent at intimidation and technology, but they're terrible at adaptation and improvisation. They keep using the same tactics over and over, even when those tactics fail." This knowledge led to humanity's boldest plan yet. Instead of waiting for the aliens to attack Earth again, humans would strike at the heart of the Empire itself. The plan was proposed by former astronaut Kevin Scott, who now commanded Earth's Space Defense Forces. "We've been thinking too small. Why defend Earth when we can liberate the galaxy?" President Carter looked skeptical. "Kevin, they have thousands of ships and millions of troops. We have maybe 100 ships and a few thousand volunteers. But we have something they don't have," Kevin replied. "We have allies now. Every enslaved species in the Empire is ready to rebel. They just need leadership and supplies." The plan was called Operation Liberation. Human fleets would strike at key Imperial worlds simultaneously, while rebel groups launched coordinated uprisings across the galaxy. The first target was the Imperial Military Academy on Zephyr Prime itself. Captain Julie Stevens led a strike force of 20 human ships directly to the alien homeworld. The Zephyrians had never imagined that primitive humans could reach their capital planet. Their defenses were designed to stop massive fleets, not small, fast ships that appeared without warning. Julie's ships landed directly on the Academy grounds. Before the aliens could react, her team, led by former Marine Sam Collins, stormed the main building and planted human-designed transmitters throughout the facility. The transmitters didn't broadcast weapons or threats. Instead, they broadcast something much more dangerous. The truth. Human voices spoke in all Imperial languages, telling the story of Earth's resistance. They described how a primitive planet had fought the mighty Empire to a standstill. They explained human concepts like freedom, individual rights, and self-determination. Most importantly, they broadcast footage of human and alien soldiers working together as equals, showing that cooperation was possible. The broadcasts reached every planet in the Empire simultaneously. On world after world, enslaved species heard the message and realized that the Empire could be defeated. The rebellion began immediately. On the factory world of Proximus 7, workers stopped production and demanded freedom. On the agricultural planet of Tau Ceti 4, farmers refused to ship food to Imperial forces. On the military base at Wolf 359, alien soldiers began defecting to join human-led liberation forces. Supreme Counselor Vexton watched his empire crumbling and finally understood the magnitude of their mistake. "Send a message to Earth," he ordered. "Tell them we want to negotiate." The message reached President Carter 12 hours later. For the first time in Imperial history, the mighty Zephyrian Empire was asking for peace talks. The negotiations took place on a neutral space station built by humans and moderate aliens working together. President Carter led the human delegation, while Supreme Counselor Vexton represented the Empire. "What are your terms?" Vexton asked. "Complete withdrawal from Earth and all occupied worlds," Carter replied. "Recognition of every species. Right to self-government. Reparations for damages caused by your invasion. And in exchange, we stop teaching rebellion to your former slaves." Vexton was quiet for a long moment. "You realize that accepting these terms will effectively end the Empire as we know it?" "Yes," Carter said simply. "That's the idea. And if we refuse?" Captain Amy Roberts, who had been quietly listening, spoke up. Then we continue doing what we've been doing. How's that working out for you? The peace treaty was signed 1 week later. The Zephyrian Empire officially surrendered, becoming the first galactic power in history to be defeated by a species they had tried to conquer. But the real victory was not military. The real victory was the birth of a new kind of galactic civilization. The Galactic Freedom Alliance was founded by representatives of 47 species that had been liberated from imperial rule. Humans provided leadership and technology, but every species contributed their own knowledge and culture. Dr. Emma Foster, now the Alliance's chief scientist, worked with alien researchers to develop new technologies that no single species could have created alone. Engineer Tony Miller designed ships that combined human creativity with alien efficiency. Teacher Linda Adams established schools where young humans and aliens learned together. The former Zephyrian worlds were not destroyed or abandoned. Instead, they were invited to join the Alliance as equals. Many accepted, grateful to escape the rigid hierarchy of their old empire. Commander Vextalar, the alien officer who had led the original invasion of Earth, requested a meeting with Sam Collins, the Montana veteran who had organized the first human resistance. I need to understand, Vextalar said. We had superior technology, superior numbers, superior firepower. How did you defeat us? Sam thought for a moment before answering. You came here expecting us to be like every other species you'd conquered, but we weren't. We were human. I do not understand the difference. Most species surrender when facing overwhelming odds because it's logical. Humans don't always do what's logical. Sometimes we do what's right, even when it's impossible. And that made you stronger? No, Sam replied. That made us free. And once you're truly free, you'll fight to stay that way, no matter what the odds are. 10 years later, the galaxy was a different place. The rigid hierarchies of the old empire had been replaced by voluntary cooperation between equals. Trade flowed freely between worlds. Knowledge was shared openly. Art and culture flourished as different species learned from each other. On Earth, children grew up learning about dozens of alien cultures, while alien children visited human schools to learn about creativity and innovation. The planet that had once been targeted for conquest became the unofficial capital of galactic civilization. Dr. Carl Brown, now an old man, often walked through the parks of New Geneva, where the Alliance headquarters was located. He would watch human and alien children playing together and remember the dark days when Earth stood alone against impossible odds. The Zephyrians had come to Earth, expecting to add another conquered world to their empire. Instead, they had awakened something that changed the galaxy forever, the human spirit of freedom, and perhaps that was the most human thing of all, taking a terrible situation and making something beautiful out of it. The aliens had landed on Earth and realized they'd made a terrible mistake. But humanity had turned that mistake into the greatest opportunity in galactic history, because humans had learned long ago that the biggest mistakes often lead to the most wonderful discoveries. The war was over. The real adventure was just beginning.